I also want you to know 5 things before you play with AI. First and foremost, you heard the term hallucinating earlier. That sounds kind of charming, actually, like, oh, it's hallucinating today. I think lies is probably a better term, right? And it doesn't matter if it lies about me, although it did make me seem cooler than I actually am. It's more important if it lies about something real, right? An historical interpretation, or analyzing data and it pulls out something that's just not there, and you yourself don't have the wherewithal to fact check it because it's beyond your knowledge. Next, it's shockingly confident. It never, ever, ever seems to doubt its answer. I liken it to a very confident 7th grader. It's not the least bit conflicted with doubt. And it seems to be a little better in the last couple of months where it says, well, I'm not entirely sure, or my large language model says blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line is that, it will tell you like it has the answer, whether it has the answer or not. It is biased because, as it turns out, the internet is biased. I think that's particularly troublesome in an area like history or humanities, in part because the entire space of literature tends to have a certain bend to it, for example. And if it's referring to the the most common denominator in that, we're going to lose an awful lot of perspective. It's not cited, even though the current models try to cite things. What I have noticed on any model that's going out to a Bing or a Google or other search is that it's not using very good source delineation, right? It is picking the first 4 or 5 sources and it's basing its answer on that. And expert researchers know that the good stuff is probably either deeper in the pages or a more nuanced prompt in a Google search, right? AI hasn't picked up on that yet. And lastly, please understand when you log in and you are presenting data to a large language model, you have become part of the testing of these tools. You are, in essence, an AI crash test dummy, and you are the one testing these pieces. And then the last piece of information I would give you here is that it was mentioned earlier, and I think this is important to understand. Do not, under any circumstances, put your students' personally identifiable information into a large language model because we just don't know what happens to it. Well, we do know, but unfortunately, the fear people have about this is it's unfounded. The fear is, and I've actually heard someone say this, that if you put student information in, it will then be Googleable. That's not what happens at all, actually. There are some hacking you can do to see some training information. But the fact we don't know where it goes, and in fact, OpenAI would like to sell you an additional product that promises not to train off of your data, tells you everything you type into these LLMs is being trained, right? And so I think that's something important to keep in mind as well.